Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to day 29 of 31 days of Horrorween. Today we're going to be talking about Hellbent. I really hope I say this director's name right. You guys know how it is. I'm just apologizing in advance. Directed by Paul Etheridge Outs. Hellbent follows 4 gay men who attend a Halloween festival that is being stalked by a mysterious killer dressed as the devil. Fun fact about this movie, the name for the film was actually chosen via an online contest, which also doubled as a publicity, like marketing stunt for the film. But some of the entries included 28 Gays Later, Boy Meets Knife, and Queer Eye for the Dead Guy, which I just had to include that because like those titles got me rolling. Like seriously, those are too funny. They also kind of seem like, you know, porno titles, but whatever. I liked that the filmmakers took the typical slasher cliches, like the character stereotypes, and kind of turned them on their head just by changing up the characters a little bit, if that makes sense. So like I said in the summary, the entire main cast of characters are gay men, and if I'm honest, that is 100% the reason why I wanted to watch this movie, because I saw 4 gay men slasher movie and I'm like, I'm really interested to see if we have our typical cliche slasher movie character types now that we've kind of changed up who's in the movie, if that makes sense. So I was like really interested to see what the filmmakers were gonna do with that. Kind of, they kind of both included the typical character types that you're used to while also not, if that makes sense. We have our kind of final girl character, our virgin type character Eddie, we have the horror Chaz, and we have a jock Toby, and the bad boy Jake. Recognizable as these character types, but they're just different because they're gay. I don't know if that is offensive to anybody, me saying that, but it just is. I don't know, it was interesting. It was an interesting thing, like how it was like both what I was used to with the slasher movies and at the same time different. I don't know, I feel like none of that made any sense, so I guess I'll just move on. I also really liked the anonymity of the killer. There's no motive other than he seems to be targeting gay men in the movie. That's obviously never confirmed or denied. I feel like the filmmakers were leaving that open to allow the audience to project their own idea onto the killer, like what they thought the motive was, or their own, like projecting their own fears onto the killer. And the guys, the characters even kind of discuss it in the movie a little bit when they're on the way to the carnival. They're talking about, you know, the murders that we see in the opening of the movie. And they're kind of talking about like who they think the killer is, like what type of person they think the killer is, and what their motive is. And they're kind of discussing a lot of ideas that kind of, you know, went through my head as well. Like it could easily be somebody who hates homosexuality and that's why they're targeting these guys. Characters suggest that maybe the killer himself is actually gay, and it's like sort of like this, you know, struggle with their homosexuality, so they're taking it out in a homicidal way. I mean, it makes the killer effectively scary. Like there's nothing more I want to know about him. I'm content not knowing his identity, and the only thing that's really super fascinating about the character and what I want to know is his apparent fascination with Eddie's fake eyeball. It was like a weird little quirk thing that they just kind of threw in at the end of the movie, and it's just like, oh, okay. Don't really know what that was about, but okay, I guess I'll accept it. So into what I don't like about the movie. I feel like this first bit, I'll just get it out of the way because I don't know if I'm gonna sound super ignorant here. So please feel free to, you know, correct me in the comments. I'll get into it in a second. Like I did try to do some research on this, but it is clearly like its own video worth of information. Like, it would have been hours of me reading stuff to get through that. So clearly it is a very deep issue. Anyway, let me just get into it. I feel like some of the characters were a little bit problematic, or at least I thought they were problematic. Again, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not gay or bi, so I'm not, there are just things about the LGBTQ plus culture that I don't understand. So, but just from my perspective, my own experiences, there were some characters that felt problematic. The ones I felt like were the most problematic were like our horror character, Chaz, because he seemed to be the only one in our character group who was bisexual. I don't think he actually says it in the movie, but he hooks up with both male and female characters, so I was just assuming. But the movie makes him out to be like the horn dog / whore character type, and I don't know if that was intentionally done, but I was just getting the message, like, it was like, to me it was conveying the message that the only bisexual character was the most sex obsessed. So that seemed a little bit, maybe a little bit problematic. Again, I don't know. Other character I thought was a bit problematic / I didn't understand was the jock character, Toby, who, like I said, they're going to a Halloween carnival, so they're all going in costume, and his costume was to dress in drag, and he's the only character, at least in the group of main characters, that were dressed in drag. So through the majority of the movie, Toby is having trouble finding anybody to hook up with, or he tries to flirt with other guys, and they take one look at his costume and just blow him off. And there's even a point where Toby is like dejectedly like sitting at a bar, and he sees another person dressed in drag who is also by themselves. So it's kind of like getting the message that they were kind of being shunned a little bit. There's also this whole thing, it comes to a point in the movie where Toby is chasing down the killer. Obviously at that point he doesn't know he's the killer, because at this point he's kind of like desperate for somebody to hook up with. Like, all of his other friends found somebody, and he's, you know, just off by himself in this carnival. He like goes through this kind of whole spiel where he like shows the killer his ID, takes off the wig, takes off part of the dress, like, to prove something. Again, like, I don't know, I just feel like there's a whole lot going on under the surface of this movie that I just, again, and I tried to like search like if there's a thing with like drag queens within this community, and again, it brought up so much stuff. Like, like I said, I could have sat there for hours reading stuff. So it seems like its whole own video series, like, talking about that. So it's something I'm definitely going to do some research on, because it was interesting, and like I said, I feel like a whole lot was going on under the surface of this movie. Anyway, so talking about the movie as a whole, I feel like it doesn't bring anything new necessarily to the slasher genre. No, that's not to say that it was like completely awful, but was the movie worth it though? I would say so. I don't expect anything earth-shattering in terms of it being like a slasher movie. Like, it's effective. It's not anything new though when you boil it down to its bare bones. But I will give it a rating of 3 out of 5. On IMDb it has a 5.5 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes it has a 44% critic score and a 40% audience score, and on Letterboxd it has a 2.9 out of 5. It's available on Amazon to rent if you want to check it out for yourself. So there's an affiliate link in the description. There's no pressure to use that link, but if you do, it does help out the channel a little bit. If you've already seen Hellbent, please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and you can ring that notification bell down there to be notified every time I post a video or go live, even though it doesn't always work. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!